Acatenango, with a summit of 13,044 feet, elevation of 5,233 feet, and 8.6 miles to the top. It's the second hardest hike in Guatemala and most famous for its proximity to Volcan de Fuego, an active volcano. A volcano I almost didn't get to see, but luckily it opened up just in time for my tour.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow.
That's super.
Wow. Good morning, everyone. Today I hike Volcan Acatenango. Last night I wasn't as nervous as I think I should have been, but this morning I am definitely feeling the nerves. Not only did I not get a great sleep, but everyone that does it says how hard it is. But I don't know. I've done a lot of hard hikes. I've gone into a bunch of hard hikes completely blind. So my, I guess, tolerance level for hard hikes is pretty high. But it will be interesting to see my take on it. It's probably a solid 5 hours up, and then we sleep over, and then we get up nice and early, and then we hike to a viewpoint to go see Volcan de Fuego. Now Volcan de Fuego is an active volcano. Pretty much erupts round the clock all the time, but not to the point of being unsafe. There was an incident actually a week ago. My mom on the news saw that Mount Fuego had erupted, and it was an unsafe level. So that volcano that erupted was the one that I was gonna hike to on Sunday, which is in 5 days, and they had to evacuate all the tourists, and no one was hurt luckily, but that also means I can't go see it. I literally chose Guatemala to be able to see lava. That was the #1 thing on my bucket list. And on the news, it made it sound like it had happened only the day of or day prior to when the news was happening, but turns out it actually only happened about a month ago. And so, the first week I thought it was being canceled, but then the tour company never called to cancel. So eventually, I reached out to them, being "So we heard on the news, Fuego blew its top. Are we still good to go?" And they said, "Fine now." So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go. This is where my mom and I split ways, and she's gonna head on over to the next accommodation, our last accommodation in Guatemala, while I do this little excursion, and then I'll meet her there. It is 6:16 in the morning. I have to be at the tour guide company at 7. Luckily, it's a block down the street. Bags all packed. It's time to get going. Also, no more train.
By happenstance, I booked an Airbnb that was literally a block away, so it made my morning commute easy. While in the line, I immediately made friends. Meet Kerwin and Mark. They're going to be reoccurring characters in my video.
So I've made it to Wicho and Charlies. That's the tour company I'll be taking this tour with. The difference between this tour group and every other one is that they have cabins. And while I'm happy to stay in a tent, I also didn't want, if I have to stay in a tent, it also means I have to bring more items to be comfortable. And I didn't want to be packing a bunch of hiking stuff for only 1 day of hiking on this trip. So I opted to pay a little bit more for a little bit more comfort, so I can bring less stuff, essentially, here to Guatemala. So I literally brought these shoes just for this hike, otherwise I wouldn't have brought these shoes. But so far so good. They got some energy shots and free coffee. I think we're just waiting for everyone to land before they start. So there's a bunch of rental gear that you can get. I'll put the list here, but there's stuff that's also just included in the price when you pay, which includes a basic pair of gloves, fleece, and water bottles. There's a few other things that are also included in the price, but I just didn't need them. They recommend 3 of these water bottles, about 4 liters of water. So if you bring your own water, then you don't need to bring these. I didn't bring a bladder or water bottles. Also, they have lockers, so for when I get back, I have a bag with nice clothes and stuff like that. So also they have tea, coffee, and they have a big breakfast offer. This is bougie, and it was only $100 US for this whole thing. Yeah. Going in my bag. So last thing I want is to leak all over my clothes. I do have a big puppy and I do have thermals, but the fact that this came with the price, it doesn't hurt to have an extra layer. Like it just, I'd rather be comfortable than cold. It's not that heavy, but I still think I'm gonna get a porter.
With our toilet paper packed, we were getting on the bus towards Acatenango. It was about an hour drive before we were landing. We met our local guides and started off. So the hike is segmented into 3 parts. The first part being the most difficult here through the farmland. It's the most steep, and we've stopped for our first break. And while it's not like insanely difficult or anything, the altitude, you can definitely feel it. And so just taking a slow pace. I'm gonna take my clothes off now because I'm starting to sweat and the last thing I want is wet clothes. So here we go. Kerwin said something actually really valuable just now. We're not even at the entrance. I would also like to point out, I'm not wearing a backpack. That's because on this hike you can actually hire porters for 200 quetzales to take your backpack. They take a max of 25 pounds, and if anything over that, then they charge you extra or they won't take it at all. My porter's named Tom, and he looks like he's suffering just a little bit back there. I feel so bad. If I wasn't vlogging or filming, I would be carrying my own bag, but because I am, I just wanted the ability and freedom to be able to film and also not fall behind, because I feel like it'd be a lot more painful. But also, you know, it gives work to the locals, and I'm all about supporting local economy. It's steep ass. That's okay. I don't have a backpack, which is making it so much easier. I can only imagine what everyone else is going through. Oh my god. Not that I haven't done something like this with a backpack before. I should say I know exactly what they're going through. I'm very glad I'm not. So after all that, we finally reached the gate entrance. We didn't have to pay the 50 quetzales that I thought you had to pay. They said it's all covered. So we finished one of 3 parts. The first part being the hardest, thank goodness. Now we're going to start the second part. Somewhere in the middle here, we're going to stop for lunch, which will be super nice. I'm ready for the second part. I mean, if this first part was the hardest, the second part, I guess it's gonna be fine. And for me, like, I've done steep hikes like this, I've done hard hikes like this. I just haven't done hikes like this. I haven't done the steep hard hikes at elevation. And so that's the one thing that's definitely been catching me off guard. I find that I sometimes breathing, I get a little bit dizzy. And so I'm taking a slower pace, and I'm actually really glad someone's taking my backpack because I would not be filming as much if I had my backpack. And I'm already not filming a lot to begin with. So here's to the second portion of 3.
Still going up, but it feels better because there's no more big stairs like down there. Yeah. All right, guys, we will be having the lunch break in 1 hour. In 30 minutes, we're gonna take another break, and then the other break will be the lunch break. All right? Is every one of you guys doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah?
Muy bien.
All right.
Later.
Oh my god. Yes. We've just exited the jungle into the open. It's becoming a bit more alpine-y, which means we're getting closer to the top. We're still a ways away, but getting closer.
Much later.
Lunchtime! Okay, we got some potato and some falafel. So once I downed my lunch and ate my bliss ball, I couldn't help but notice all the stray dogs that were hanging about. They were quite peaceful and they didn't beg or bother you for your food. So there's so many dogs up here in the mountain, and that they actually, get this, this tour company actually gives us dog food, free dog food to give to the dogs that are up here, because otherwise they would not be getting any food anywhere else. And it's so nice because like they're quite docile, they're not aggressive, they beg less than my dog, and my dog gets fed every day. It's incredible.
Those -10 winds, they will fuck you up, bro.
They're so thirsty, the poor things. Let's give our food away, shall we? Has to carry. Has to carry later.
Like a lizard.
About an hour later, we were packing our bags and continuing on the hike.
You got it! Good! Oh. I guess we'll find out later. Section 2 of 3. Done. Now apparently the next part is flat. It's not like full flat. I'm about to discover what that means, but they call it Guatemalan flat. I highly recommend a porter. Yeah.
While Guatemalan flat was pretty flat, there was still a few hills we had to climb. And man, was I so glad to come around the corner and see we had made it.
My dudes, we made it. Whew. You know, it really wasn't as bad as I thought. But please also do remember, I wasn't carrying a backpack. So my review is going to be a little tainted. I got to base camp about half an hour ago. There's another group that are going to go on hiking to a viewpoint where they can view Mount Fuego. There's another one tomorrow morning, but it's a different hike, and it's actually a lot more strenuous, and that's what I'm going to do. But the cloud was covering the volcano when I got here, but someone up on the way up said that about every half an hour the cloud clears, and then you get to see it. And I believe we just missed a small eruption, but we did get to see the smoke cloud that came from it, and my God, it's mighty. So I can only imagine what this is gonna look like at nighttime, if it's clear, or even during the clouds. You can even hear it, like the roar of the eruption. It's crazy. I've always wanted to see lava. It's been something that's on my bucket list for years, actually. Since a child, I've always wanted to see it. And fingers crossed I get to see it here, because this is epic. And the views, stunning. I hope it's happening again. Oh my God. Oh, it's so cool. Seriously, this is a childhood dream. This is like a childhood dream right now. Just keeps coming. So here at base camp, there's different cabins that you can book. Obviously, you know, if you want a cabin with less people, you're gonna pay a little bit more money. And I went the frugal way and I got the 12-person cabin. There's also single cabins, as well as 4-people cabins that you can choose from. So regardless, the views are phenomenal, and I've been here 40 minutes and the money's been paid off already. 110%. Now I'm gonna go sit outside now in peace and let everyone enjoy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow.
That's super.
Wow. I'm sorry. That doesn't get old. That's amazing. Telling you right now, these volcanoes don't get old. Like I could sit here and I could film every eruption, and like it doesn't get old. But I gotta save battery, and see, it's erupting again, completely distracted. I'm hoping tonight that the cloud is clear so that we can see the lava. I am currently on the way to the ladies' room because I haven't gone all day. Apparently it smells, but you know, it's a toilet on top of a volcano. You're gonna get what you get. Okay, well. Yep. Oh, and it's sunset and it's so pretty. Wow. Let's get away from the toilet, it smells. I'm so glad I got to make it, because I was low-key really disappointed, because I came here to Guatemala for this, really. This is one of the biggest reasons I came here, was to see this volcano. And it would have been kind of disappointing. Not that Guatemala hasn't been beautiful, but yeah, this was the reason I came, and I'm so glad I got to be here. I'm so glad. And if you come here, make the effort to do it, because it's insane. Like, there's the feeling you get. It's just like, oh my god, again. Look. Like, did you hear that? You can hear it. And the sun is coming in with the God rays. This is so good. This is so good.
Since the majority of the group were out hiking to the lookout point of Mount Fuego, there was only about 5 of us that stayed behind.
When do you get to roast marshmallows at the base? You've never roasted marshmallows. Marshmallows time, everybody!
Yeah.
What, roasting a marshmallow?
It's a marshmallow roast.
I don't know this looks so young.
Oh, yours is on fire. Blow it out, blow yours out.
Muy delicioso.
We were all eating dinner together and laughing when we heard this loud bang. So far during the trip, we've only seen a little bit of steam, maybe some ash come out of Mount Fuego, but this eruption was insane. My camera was not agreeing with me and perpetually wanted to make everything blurry. While this video doesn't accurately represent the feeling of watching this thing erupt, I can tell you it was absolutely exhilarating and fulfilling. I eventually put the camera down and just watched as it simmered. I decided I saw enough to satisfy my need until the early morning hike tomorrow. Now, I didn't film much at this point as I had someone sleeping directly underneath me and I felt it was rude to disturb them. I hopped into bed around 10 p.m. and let me tell you, I froze. I was so cold that I couldn't fall asleep till 2 a.m. An hour later, my alarm was going off for the hike and I could not bring myself to get out of bed. Turns out no one else could either, so instead, we all woke up just before sunrise and sat outside in silence and enjoyed the view. This hike exceeded my expectations. Although the altitude posed a level of difficulty, and with a backpack it would have been much harder, the payoff was worth it 10 times over. If time allowed, I would have stayed another night. As for Fuego, it was stunning beyond belief, and I can confidently cross it off my bucket list. I felt so fulfilled, but what really made this trip extraordinary was the people I was sharing it with.
So I hiked Acatenango and it was pretty rough, but it wasn't impossible.
The hardest thing I ever did in my life. I was so exhausted, but it's so rewarding.
It was really fun. I'm really glad I did it, and I'm actually really surprised that I did it because it was really difficult.
I would recommend anyone to do this, right? Because it challenges you both mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Oh, so good. Yeah, so beautiful.
It's really one of the best feelings that you make it to the top. I loved it. I loved it, but God, I'm tired.
Back from the hike, I felt pretty well, so I decided to go on to Fuego, which was literally the most insane hike ever. And afterwards I kept asking myself, why was I pushing my body to this extreme? But I did it and I'm super proud of myself.
And there were times when I thought I couldn't make it, but my brother right here would have helped with me along the way.
Yeah. Right
And I made it to the top.
You did.
So amazing.
Yeah, and I met really lovely people, so it was a great experience.
And you guys did it. Good job, everyone.
Wow,
Right?
second hardest hike. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, everybody. Yeah.
Good job. And goodbye.
Somewhere I think we're supposed to go. Who knows? When we get over. Just doing this with a bunch of people. Just like the entire camera's got a coat of dust. But it was expected, so. Guatemalan flat, here we come! Almost there, almost there. Called a mercy killing. It's either you get up within the first hour or we'll choose a rock to kill you with. A mercy killing. I got it, I can't wait. I hope the fire time! It's not like I have like best photos or anything, but it's self-taught. And I like video more than I like photography. But my videos are so...
Does anyone else want to tell their experience to the camera? It's going to go on YouTube. Does anyone care? Does anyone tell how horrible it was or how great it was?
What's your YouTube channel?
Travel.
I don't want to be on the camera, but what's your YouTube channel?
Travel with Tats.